There's a secret to controlling your emotions that almost no one knows, and it comes from ancient Greece. Today, I'm not just telling you about it, I'm putting it to the test in real life, and you might be shocked by what I discovered. I was. The idea is deceptively simple. The Stoics believed you could achieve an unbreakable kind of peace by understanding one core principle: the dichotomy of control. In their view, life is divided into two parts: what you can control and what you can't. Master this distinction, they said, and you could face anything with resilience and calm. But here's the thing: when you first hear it, it almost sounds like common sense. Only focus on what you can control. We've all heard some version of this, but when you truly try to live by it, when you make this idea your compass, things start to shift. And not always in ways you'd expect. I wanted to know if this ancient wisdom could help us today in the messy, unpredictable lives we live. So I decided to put it to the test, fully and honestly. And the results? Let me show you. The first test came right away, almost as if the universe was challenging me. I sat down at my desk, barely settled in, and there it was, a message from my boss, an urgent deadline, the kind of project that demands hours, due by the end of the day. My stomach tightened, my heart started pounding. You know that feeling? When your mind starts racing, juggling tasks, calculating time, and it feels like it's never enough. My first instinct was to panic, to do what I usually do, frantically jump from task to task, chasing the impossible. But then I remembered the Stoics. What can I actually control here? I looked at the situation again. I couldn't control the deadline, and I couldn't control my boss's expectations. But I could control my approach, my focus, and whether I let the stress consume me. So I took a breath, and instead of letting that fear of failure take over, I focused on one thing at a time. I chose to stop fighting the deadline itself and redirected my energy to what I could do right now. And, shockingly, I started feeling lighter. I was still on the clock, but that anxiety that usually comes with it, gone. I was surprised. I had actually found control in a moment that normally makes me feel helpless. Then came my next challenge, and this one hit a nerve. Later that day, I was stuck in traffic. Not your average traffic either, the kind where you're barely moving, and it feels like every driver around you is out to test your patience. I could feel the anger building, like a flame rising up. You know that wave of frustration when it's right there in your throat and you just want to scream. Usually, I'd let the anger take over. It's just traffic, but it gets to me. I'll sit there stewing, letting it ruin my mood. But this time, the Stoic practice came back to me. What can I actually control? And I realized I couldn't make the cars move. I couldn't change the traffic lights, but I could control how I reacted. I could choose whether I let this frustration take over or if I just let it pass. So I decided for once not to fight it. I took a deep breath and accepted that it was out of my control. And you know what happened? That anger, it melted away. In its place, I felt something strange, something I almost never feel in traffic: calm. For the first time, I understood what the Stoics meant. I had stopped letting external things control me, and I felt free, even in traffic. But the biggest test came later, when I least expected it. I got some news that changed everything, a serious setback, the kind that doesn't just annoy you or stress you out, the kind that makes you feel defeated, like the ground's been pulled out from under you. My mind started racing. I could feel that familiar wave of stress, of why is this happening to me, crashing down. Normally I would have spiraled. I'd replay the situation over and over, fixating on what I wish had gone differently, letting worry take over. But again I thought of the Stoics. Focus only on what you can control. I took a deep breath and I asked myself, what here is actually in my control? And the answer hit me hard. I couldn't control the setback itself. I couldn't change the circumstances or rewind time, but I could control how I responded. I could choose my next steps. I stopped letting the what-ifs drown me. I chose to let go of the things I couldn't change, and I focused on what I could do next. And as I did, that paralyzing stress began to ease. The setback was still there, but somehow the fear was gone. That was the moment I truly felt the power of this practice. It wasn't that the situation changed. I had changed, and that, I realized, was the point all along. So, did the Stoics get it right? Honestly, I was stunned. I realized that we waste so much energy, so much, stressing over things we can't control. And every time we do, we're surrendering our peace, our focus, our happiness to things outside of us. But the moment we choose to let go of what we can't change, something incredible happens. Suddenly, we have room for peace, room to breathe, room to focus on what we can control. And that is powerful. I'm not saying I mastered it overnight, but I could see in each of these moments that by focusing on my own response, I had tapped into a strength I didn't even know I had. The Stoics had it right. They understood how to stay strong even when everything else is falling apart. So, here's how you can try this yourself, even if you're new to Stoicism. First, notice your reaction. The next time something stresses you out or makes you angry, pause for just a second and ask, is this something I can control? That question alone will shift your mindset. Next, mentally sort it out. Take a moment to separate what you can control, your response, your attitude, from what you can't. Imagine putting each in a box and let go of the box with the things you can't control. Finally, refocus your energy. Redirect your attention and actions to what's in your control, your response, your next step. And with practice, you'll feel the difference. You'll find the strength to face things that used to throw you off balance. In the end, Stoicism isn't about ignoring your feelings or shutting down your emotions. It's about knowing where your power truly lies and refusing to surrender it to things outside of yourself. So, will you try it? Are you ready to put it to the test? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're curious about more ways to find peace and strength in a chaotic world, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're just getting started.